Hey, what is good, everyone? Welcome to week 2 of the NFL season. And we're here to chop it up with you guys here at the Chicago Clubhouse, talking about the Bears versus the Detroit Lions. And hopefully, by the end of this game, we'll be in a much better and happier mood than we were at the end of Monday night's game last week. So, thanks for joining us, guys. Please, if you're here at the Clubhouse, help us grow, help like and subscribe. We are on our way to 1,400 subscribers. We're trying to get there before the end of the year. So if you haven't already, please do us a solid, like and subscribe so we can get there and grow the Clubhouse. But going forward here, talking about the Bears matchup, my boy later on will join me, the coach chef, and we'll get into it. We may have a few other guests joining as well, but like I said, last week's game started off great, especially the first drive. Caleb looked, like we wanted him to look, being efficient and accurate with the ball. But I'm sure as you guys kind of broke down the tape and heard from other people throughout the week, there was some big plays that were left on the field, along with how inaccurate Caleb seemed to be throwing the ball downfield still. So the season is early, and hopefully that stuff gets cleaned up, but the season doesn't stay young for too long. If he doesn't figure it out sooner rather than later, hate to say it, maybe Ben Johnson may kind of say, hey, this isn't my guy. And during the draft, they may start to look elsewhere. But we may be getting ahead of ourselves because, like I said, it's only week 2. It's first year for Caleb Williams in this offense. So we've got to have some sort of patience. But being Bears fans, man, that's all we've ever heard, it seems like, is to be patient. So I know if you're anything like me, patience is kind of getting worn pretty thin. But anyways, before I get too far into it, let me go ahead and get this show kicked off, guys. Let's go. And we are back. Thanks, guys, for joining us here at the Clubhouse. Like I said, I'm your boy, the Crooked Commish. And like I said, put your questions in the chat. Like I said, I'd love to chop it up with you guys. And we already have some coming in, so let's get to them here. We got Carl, the Super Fan, channel 89. Thanks for checking us out. I'm going to blur out that last part. I'm not going to quite say that last part there, but you all can read. So, good morning, fellas. Did you get my picks in the comments? I don't think we did. I didn't see anything like that. Let me kind of go through them again. Quick question about last week's game. Do you blame DJ Moore for changing the route mid-route? Caleb for not seeing him and throwing it sooner? Or Ben Johnson for calling a bad play? That's a really good question. I think it just shows us that the offense still needs, they still need a gel. Like the communication between those two, the chemistry between those two still hasn't come together at all, unfortunately. I was saying this earlier. It feels like anytime Caleb Williams has to throw the ball to DJ, it's like a chore for him. You know, it's kind of like a reluctant, I got to get this guy involved, or I got to throw this guy the ball. You know, he seems to have a better connection, better chemistry than with Rome, which I guess makes sense considering that, you know, they came together here in the same year. Um, so, but with DJ on that particular play, man, I guess you would hope that the QB would be able to see what the receiver saw as far as like there's an open slot, you know, the open part of the field is towards the end zone. And considering where they were in that point of the game, they needed to score as quick as possible, you know. So, and if they would have been able to connect there and score with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, that would have put the Bears in a much better position, given them a much better chance to try and get the ball back with a hell of a lot more time than they ended up having. You know, so I'm hoping Caleb going forward, like I said, will recognize what kind of DJ saw there, and they can, you know, have better chemistry and connect there next time. But the inaccuracy, like I said, downfield is really what's kind of concerning to me with Caleb, because it wasn't just that one particular throw. He had an overthrow kind of in the middle of the field to Rome, where Rome really had to stretch up and get it. I get Rome had both hands on the ball, and a number one receiver needs to pull that down. But you would hope maybe DJ can, or not DJ, but Williams can kind of lower that ball and kind of make it a little bit more catchable as well. But that's a tough question. Time's going to tell on who's right and who's wrong on that one, and who that kind of falls more on and whatnot. So, Dan, thanks for coming in here at the clubhouse. I appreciate it. Let's see. He said, Frank, them. Yeah, he's not here today, but he is normally on the Tuesday night shows. So, guys, Tuesday night is the show that Frank the Tank will be on. They break down the Bears game at the end of every Bears game. You got Frank the Tank, you got JB Stats, T-Nick, and Edge, aka formerly known as Foul Mouth C, and with Mr. Chicago as well. They normally come on, talk about the game, break it down, talk about the good, the bad, and sometimes a lot of the ugly that happens in the game. So, but let's see. I see none of those comments on here. Okay, I'm not sure. Hey, Darius, good to see you. Good to chop it up with you. Thanks for joining us here. So, guys, what did you think of what happened last week? Obviously, it wasn't good. You know, that started off with the bang and ended with the whimper there. So, defense clearly got gassed, and we clearly were missing the leadership of TJ Edwards and Jalen Johnson, and even Kyler Gordon. So luckily, as we look at the report here, Johnson is playing in this game, and so is TJ. But unfortunately, Kyler Gordon is still out of this game. So, and then it looks like Grady Jarrett will not be playing in this game as well, which is a little disappointing for sure. I mean, being one of the guys that they brought in to help that defensive line really didn't really play much in week one, and here we're going into week two, and he's already kind of nicked up somehow, some way. So luckily, it's not a long-term thing. It doesn't seem to be. Hopefully next week he can get on the field and kind of show us that he still has some gas in that tank. So, but what do you guys think was the key factor, or where it started to kind of go downhill for the Bears there? So last week, to me, that missed field goal, that 50-yard missed field goal with Cairo Santos was brutal. I mean, you could, at that point, I don't know about you guys, but for me, being a Bears fan and seeing this story, a million times before. At that point, it kind of felt like the momentum was kind of really starting to go towards Minnesota's way, unfortunately. So after that missed field goal, they kind of had a shorter field, and I think they got some points right after that as well. But man, it's so frustrating to see this team sometimes, because you end up asking yourself, like, is shit ever going to change with them? Like, as far as like how they lose the games, and are they ever going to be able to play four full quarters of football? I mean, just week after week, man, it sucks to see the same type of results, and sometimes it's done in a slightly different way, like with the Hail Mary type of shit. But bottom line, it's the same type of Bears type of blow it, or, just don't have enough juice to kind of get them to the finish line. So let's see. Coach's decision, kicking secondaries was gas, interior line collapsed. Yeah, no, I agree with that. So Ben Johnson definitely showed that he's a rookie head coach, so not kicking the ball out of bounds, when you need the clock not to run for the 2-minute warning, and trying to kick it out of the end zone was obviously not the smartest move there. But I'm hoping we don't see the same mistakes from the coach, though. That's the main thing, is not seeing him do the same stupid shit over and over and over again. And honestly, that's what we need to see out of Caleb Williams, is him to grow and not continue to hold the ball too long and decide to try and throw the ball out of bounds when you're already getting sacked and, halfway, on the ground. So you need to recognize and see that the play is dead. There's nothing there, and just throw it away sooner, instead of trying to scramble and scramble and scramble. And a lot of those times, I'm just waiting for that ball to get knocked out of his hands, when he's just kind of running around in the backfield with it and holding it like a loaf of bread. So let's see. I personally blame DJ for not taking it upon himself for calling an audible mid-play. You should have just ran the post towards the sideline and trust that you can continue to move the ball into the end zone. Okay. I mean, I hear you there. I mean, if you're going to change something up, then yeah, you need to maybe communicate better with Caleb and whatnot, and kind of give him some sort of hint or indication on what he's going to do. So, but like I said, it's all part of that offensive system and the chemistry that needs to get worked out there. So, but let me go ahead and bring in a special guest to the show. If you guys watch the Thursday night shows, the Plunked shows, our baseball show on Thursday night, we have Emilio and Kristen that do that show. One's a Sox fan, one's a Cubs fan. So the season is coming towards the end, so there's not too many episodes left. So I encourage you guys to go check them out. But joining us right now in the clubhouse to talk some Bears football is Emilio. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Not much. You were.
Yeah, you'll have to excuse the
You at the game?
noise. I'm down the street from Ford Field. I don't know if you can see it in the horizon there. We're in
Very
enemy
nice.
territory.
Very nice.
Yeah.
No, it's
So
good that
we're
you're
in
down there
enemy
representing
territory
for
right
sure.
now. Oh yeah. Representing for sweetness.
I love the jersey. How many Bears fans do you see over there? Are we representing well, or not too many? Looks like we may have lost Emilio there. Going into enemy lines, they kind of cut the feed, I guess. Let's see. we'll see if he can come back a little later since he froze up on us. So, but let's see. Yeah, going back to what you're saying about DJ. Yeah, like I said, I like DJ. It's nothing to say that he's not a good receiver and whatnot. I just wish the chemistry between him and Caleb could be better. Hey, Emilio, you're back with us here.
Hey, man,
So
sorry,
how many Bears fans are over there?
I got my daughter Miley with me. I see one Bears fan or maybe two down the street from me. But other than that, I'm in a sea of blue. Not Bears blue,
I guess that's
Lion blue.
Yeah, that's to be expected when you kind of cross enemy lines there. So that's for sure. Can you give me
Absolutely.
your thoughts? Can you give me your thoughts on what you saw out of Caleb Williams last week versus the Vikings and what you think of him going forward?
Yeah, man. He looked good in that first half, but then he did not take to. I don't hear many people who have talked about the adjustments Minnesota made during halftime because they really dialed up the pressure on him in that second half. And, you know, our offensive line is what it is, but you got to give it to Minnesota the way they dialed up that pressure. Nobody presses as hard as Minnesota's defense. Caleb couldn't do anything with it, started trying to force things. You know, I'm worried. You know, like I'm a Bears fan for a long time, and I'm worried about this quarterback situation. And, you know, as far as him being a generational talent, that's great, but I'm waiting to see it on a consistent basis. And I can't say that I've really seen that last season, and I didn't see that in game one. He's our guy. He's my guy because he's wearing our uniform, so I'm rolling with him. You know what I mean? I'm not calling for no backups or we should have did this or should have did that. But yeah, like I hope he is coachable. I hope Ben Johnson can coach him
I
out of
agree.
some of his bad habits.
Yeah, 1000%. That was very well said. Like I said, like that it is worrisome to see that he's still making some of the same mistakes that he's made last year.
Mm-hmm.
You would have thought you would hoped that he would look a bit sharper. Granted, I know it's year one under Ben Johnson's offense, and it's a complex offense and whatnot. But I think by at least week 6 or so, we'll have a good idea if he's really grasping this offense and is going to be able to kind of get it and stuff. I'm not saying I need to see 300-yard games out of him, but I just need him to look more comfortable and play more in rhythm in that offense there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
It's a tall order, you know, for a second-year quarterback. But for a guy who should be a generational talent, I'm still riding with him. But the clock is ticking officially. I think
yes,
this is year 2, and I'm not gonna lie. That first game, it had week 1 2019 vibes with Mitch. He's a better quarterback than Mitch, but it had that same type of vibe. Uh, I'm getting heckled here by some Lions fans, but it had that 2019 vibe where it was the second year you saw Mitch and you wanted to see some improvements immediately, and you didn't immediately see improvements, and we didn't see that in week 1 of Caleb's second year. You know, again, first year in this offense, so we have to give him that. We got to give him some time. We got to give this offensive line some time to gel. I do think this team is going to get better as the season progresses. I felt that way even before week 1. I didn't feel like they were going to come out of the gate week 1 just slinging the thing like that. You know what I mean? I feel like you said, by week 5 or 6, or yeah, I think we got an early bye this year. Maybe week 5 is our bye or something like that. But I think by then you will have an understanding, like, will he be able to grasp this offense? Is he the talent that has been advertised?
Yeah.
And then I think we'll go from there, man.
Yeah, and on the defensive side of the ball, it looks like this week we are going to have some of our big time players in Jalen Johnson and TJ Edwards is back, thank God.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no Kyler Gordon and no Grady Garrett, who is newest one of the newest Bears this season. With those two guys though being back, do you think the Bears defense will look a bit more sharper against the Lions here, or
I
you think?
mean, here's my thing. If we can't move the ball in the second half on the offensive side, our defense is going to be gassed again.
Hmm.
And it doesn't matter who's out there, whether it's Jalen, TJ, it doesn't matter who's healthy now. Guys will be gassed by the fourth quarter if we can't control possession time on the offense, which we weren't able to do in the second half. We totally had it under control in the first half, but we weren't able to really effectively move the ball in the second half. And so the defense just got gassed by the fourth quarter. And like I said, I don't care who's out there. It's like you're gassed, you're gassed. And we got to give Jalen some time to really work himself back into game shape. So I wouldn't go and assume that he's going to be even 100% just yet.
Okay.
So we'll see, man. Like controlling time of possession is going to be imperative for that defense to be effective.
I agree. I agree. And I think another thing that we need to look out for and hopefully see the coaches do a better job is making adjustments on the adjustments. Because like you said, that first half, the Bears offense and the Bears were clicking or playing a bit more in rhythm. But then after
Yeah,
they came out of halftime, Brian Flores figured out what they were doing and made their adjustments. Once again, it seemed like the Bears had no answers or no adjustments were made until it was too little too late and whatnot. So
exactly.
that's the other thing that I'm hoping these coaches can make the adjustments on the adjustments a bit sooner. Because, like I said, we've seen this from Bears in the past too, where they don't make any adjustments at all, and that second half looks like a completely different game than it was in the first half.
hmm Agreed. Agreed. This coaching staff they have to be better. They have to make wiser decisions. They cannot afford to leave points on the board. Cannot afford to leave points on the board under any circumstances. Our kickers got to be better. Everybody's got to be sharper.
Yeah, no, our kicker situation. That's a let's talk about that. So, Cairo Santos missed a 50-yarder last week, which definitely we could have used because we lost by 3.
Yeah.
So do you think the Bears, I mean, this a few days ago, they signed Jake Moody to their practice squad, the 49ers former kicker, which I'm a little so. I feel like that guy's got a case of the yips right now, so I'm not sure
hmm
how dependable he's going to be. But going forward with Cairo Santos, do you feel confident in him being the Bears kicker, or are you hoping they move on for him after this season?
I think it depends on how he looks this season, whether or not we move off of him. You know what I mean? Again, it's early, had a disappointing start, but he was solid, last season. So let's hope that he gets it together. He's playing in the dome today, so let's hope that not that the weather should have affected him last weekend, but let's hope that he can pull it together and he can deliver when he's called upon. We've been through this situation with unreliable kickers, and Santos has been good. So let's hope that was just a misstep, and he's going to lock it down the rest of the year, and then by then they'll make a decision on what to do going forward with the kicker.
Yeah, and like Keith was saying, Santos has been one of the more accurate kickers for the Bears in Soldier Field Stadium, which is not an easy place to kick. The
Absolutely
accuracy,
not.
I love the accuracy. I just wish he could have a bit of a bigger leg to him, but I mean,
Yes, yeah.
I guess you can't have everything in this world. So, um, but
Especially when you're a Bears fan.
Jesus Christ, isn't that sad truth? Boy, going forward, looking in this game, what do you think are the key factors, or what do you think is the most important thing that the Bears need to do to come out of Ford Field with the win?
Like I mentioned before, I think time of possession is going to be imperative to control, and not let Detroit get the momentum of the home crowd behind them, because they're hungry. They're out here representing. I see them. I mean, this is one of those periods where Detroit is actually good. They get, like, every 10 years they get a good squad, and so they're out here representing, and they got the crowd behind them. So I think controlling the time of possession is going to be a key to winning this game for the Bears.
I agree. I think also on defense, I think if the defense can try and help out that offense and get some key turnovers, or just some turnovers to put the offense in a good field position to make that field a little bit shorter for Caleb, that'll definitely help. So I'm hoping to see, like I said, now that we got some of our core defensive players playing in today's game, that we can get a few more turnovers than we did last week. I know they got that one interception out of JJ, and that was about it.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just an interception; it was a pick six, and they still couldn't. They still couldn't win the game. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I love the idea of our defense getting takeaways. You know what I mean? But what I hate the idea of is Caleb needing to rely on that, and needing them to rely on getting a short field. Like, this guy's supposed to be able to take us from end to end. You know what I mean? And but the defense, I don't worry about the defense so much. Again, time of possession. Don't let them get gassed in the fourth quarter, and then start playing that awful prevent defense. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but defense definitely does have to represent and hold it down. I agree, especially on the road.
Yeah, like I said, that's what's going to help keeping that crowd kind of tempered down there and whatnot. So, is to shut down their offense as much as possible or make it seem stale. But man, Monty usually has good games against us. He gets his lick back whenever he plays against us.
Oh yeah, payback
So
game.
hopefully, yeah, dude. So hopefully the Bears can, like I said, put together 4 complete quarters of football. They seem to struggle with that, and both of these teams are going to be playing desperate. Neither one of these teams can afford to go down 0-2, not only in the season but in the division. So
Exactly.
if Detroit
Exactly. You're
has,
not gonna win the. You're not gonna make the playoffs starting out 0-2 in the division. So this is really a must win for either of these teams if they have playoff aspirations. I know Detroit definitely has playoff aspirations, and we low key do too. You know what I mean? Like, we want to squeak into the playoffs somehow too. And but starting out 0-2 is not going to cut it for either of these teams.
yeah, 1,000%. Like, I mean, you see the percentages, that of the chances of a team starting off 0-2 going into making the playoffs is next to none. I mean, like I said, not to say that it's not possible, but
Of course.
I mean,
Well, that's
like I said,
not something you want the Bears to have to
right,
turn
to figure out
around.
when they're still trying to figure out this offense. It's still year one of this
Yeah.
offense, and to put yourself behind the 8 ball like that, like, man, you're really
Yeah.
just not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah.
Let me get to these comments real quick here. Moore put Caleb in the position where he had to either disobey his coaches and throw the ball in the direction in which his footing didn't support, run what the coach calls, get out of bounds, stop the clock. I think he's talking about towards the end where Caleb overthrew DJ towards the corner of the end zone of last week's game there. And he's like, Moore's indicator to Caleb was that he threw up his arms in the air once he saw that he was in the open field. But he was so quick, and that's not fair to Caleb there in that situation. So what are your thoughts about Caleb's being inaccurate downfield there? Do you think on that particular route, he wants to know, do you blame Caleb Williams for not seeing what DJ saw and kind of when he broke to the end zone in the open field? Or do you think DJ should have stuck with the route design and broke to the outside, like Williams was expecting him to do?
You know, I think that DJ should have stuck to the route because it's kind of obvious he hasn't built that type of chemistry with Caleb yet,
Okay.
where they can go and break plays and still kind of feel each other out. And, you know, he went for it. I'm not mad at DJ for doing that because he saw an opening and he hoped Caleb saw it, and Caleb should have saw that. But considering they don't have quite a history of having that good chemistry, I think in that case, time running down and just trying to move the ball, bear down, trying to move the ball, he should have stuck with the route.
Yeah, you know, it seems like those Detroit Lions fans are being pretty nice. They're asking you if you're lost, if you need directions and whatnot. So they seem to be looking out for Bear fans.
Well, I got a couple Bears fans that have walked past me, so I've gotten some good thumbs ups and whatnot. So it's all good. I mean, I'm not in Philly or anything like that with a real hostile crowd. You know what I mean? So, you know,
Yeah,
the B,
yeah.
they're usually pretty cool.
If you were in Philly, they probably would have ripped that jersey off of you, or at least
I wouldn't have been able to do this podcast at the moment because people probably been yelling at me.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Well, let me go ahead and get in my other co-host here joining us. He's a double captain here at the clubhouse, and that's why he has 2 C's in his name, and we call him Coach Chef. What is good? What's cooking?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Coach? Hey, guys, I'm going to sign off because I'm going to head into the stadium.
All right, Emilio, man. Good.
Yes, Emilio.
Good looking out, brother.
For sure, man. It was fun. And I'll try to drop a line in maybe around halftime, see if you guys are around.
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys.
Sounds good.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Peace.
Bear down.
Morning, Coach Chef. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Could be better, could be worse. I'm all right.
Well, it looks like you are ready to watch some Bears football here. We were just talking about a little bit about last week's game. Let me get your opinion on here because it was one of the questions that kind of came in early from Carl here, the Bears super fans. He wanted to know on that towards the end of the game when the Bears were driving and needed to get that touchdown. We saw where DJ run a route, and I guess he didn't run the route that was designed and kind of broke towards the corner of the end zone. And because I guess he was supposed to run an out route, and he ended up breaking to the corner of the end zone, and that's where Williams kind of overthrew him. It was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game.
You talking about it was the one he overthrew where he went vertical?
Yeah, he went vertical, kind of almost like a post route towards the end to the end zone there.
It was like a fade or a really bad corner route.
Yes.
Yes. So who confirmed that he ran the wrong route?
Just from one of the questions here in the chat, I guess they're saying that DJ should have ran more of an out route, I believe. And he, instead of doing that, instead of sticking to the route, he kind of diverted and kind of ran towards the open part of the field, hoping that Williams would see what he saw. But like I said, saw it too late, ended up overthrowing it. I guess apparently from what we're hearing from in the chat here, he was supposed to run a slightly different route. So in that situation, who do you kind of put that on?
Well, it's a sight adjustment type of thing. So, yes, you're supposed to run the route that's drawn up. I find the fact that him running an out route would be weird because I think Olamide Zaccheaus ran a shallow route to the flat. So I don't know why you would have a flat route plus an out route. That doesn't really make sense to me. But what I would say is sometimes when things open up so much vertically, you kind of go vertical. I don't know. I think the adjustment he made would have been a good one if they scored. And I guess him not getting hit by Caleb, but I don't know what that has to do with Caleb throwing the ball out of bounds.
Well, I guess
Like,
his feet were in position, in the right position. He wasn't kind of set up, as far as lined up, thinking that I'm going to throw the ball more, obviously towards an out route design compared to, it's kind of slightly going. So maybe you have to adjust your feet, a little bit in a different position to kind of throw an accurate ball.
I get that. You're a quarterback. You got to reset. You got to readjust, or you could just be more accurate. I've seen Caleb throw balls where his feet are not set because he uses his arms. So you've got to hit that. It's a wide open man. Regardless of the route adjustment, you've got to hit that guy. You've got to reset. And that just means that you rushed because you were overzealous and you saw him wide open. That's basically what that is. I don't find a way of absolving Caleb for the lack of accuracy because someone ran a different route but was wide open and Caleb saw him and Caleb still tried to get them the ball. I'm not blaming DJ. Caleb's got to get his feet adjusted. If that's the thing, because your feet lead your hips lead your shoulder. I mean, it's a from bottom, it's a throwing a football or a baseball that starts with your legs. But at the end of the day, you've got to hit the wide open guy. The problem, has it been 10 years since Mr. Trubisky? The problem with Mr. Trubisky was that he couldn't hit the vertical route whether his feet were set or not. When guys were open or when guys had a bead, he would consistently overthrow guys, consistently. So people are talking about Caleb's accuracy is really bad. Caleb, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go back and look at Mitch. Justin would hit the deep ball, but then he had problems with the intermediate ball or the shorter pass. Or he didn't have time to throw deep. Regardless of the excuse or the reason, let's just call it a reason, Caleb has to hit the wide open guy, whether he sight adjusted or Caleb's feet are not set. Well, then you've got to reset your feet and either put less air on the ball and buzz it and put it on the line, or you've got to use your amazing arm talent and be accurate and complete the pass. That's what it boils down for me.
Okay. I mean, when I gave my answer earlier, I was kind of in that line where I kind of was saying that I would hope the quarterback would kind of see that and be on the same page and see what the receiver was doing, considering that in that point of the game, you needed to score as quick as possible.
Right.
So I get where DJ, the route may call for that, but I mean, shit, if I'm seeing that the field's open there, and slight adjustment, you just kind of have faith and hope that the QB sees the same thing that I'm seeing right now. But Emilio brought up the point where it's kind of too early in the season with these guys. The chemistry just isn't there between those guys, unfortunately, right now to be able to make a on-the-fly adjustment like that. His point was like maybe he should have just stuck with the original route because of that chemistry not being there between you guys, at least not at this point in the season. So
I can see what you're saying. Like I'm trying to go back to my TV and try to find that, trying to go back and see. I don't even know. I'm trying to figure out how someone figured he was trying to throw or he was supposed to run an out route. Like nothing in the media, nothing the coaches have said. Ben Johnson seems to be a very transparent guy. If there was a problem with the route, I'm pretty sure he would have said
it. He said, "Thanks for asking, Coach Chef. My question, I was wondering his opinion." Okay. No problem.
So these are professionals. So I mean, let me concise it and let me finish it without like staying on this specific topic or question. If this was high school, you run the route that's given. If we practice something else, but sometimes if a guy's not on you, like if you're wide and there's no one in front of you, so the defense has a busted coverage, and if the quarterback doesn't see it, then we would say, hey, we're just not going to move. We're going to run like a quick hitch or something like that to that effect. Okay. Alex Smith on it. Okay. Was okay. No problem. I'm kind of watching it, but I just literally turned on my DVR to see it again. So if no one was guarding him, in fact, I think DJ was in the slot, and say he turns to run out, but he feels nothing. He doesn't feel anybody there, and he's like, "Well, shoot, let me take this up and let me go vertical because there's no one. There's no deep guy. There's no intermediate guy. There's no shallow guy. There's no one on me. So I'm just gonna take it vertical because that's the easy pass." Once the quarterback sees that, he's got to hit him. I don't have another reasoning for that besides him hitting. Now, if it was two people in the same area, if he ran the wrong route or he ran it too short or something timing, but he didn't hit him because he underthrew him. He overthrew him. He threw the ball out of bounds. So the quarterback has to be, unfortunately, he's the fixer. The quarterback is the problem. The quarterback is also the answer. Unfortunately, he had time on the ball. He had time. He had a good pocket on that play, from what I remember. He's got to hit that. He missed some other passes. I mean, so once again, me jumping on extremely late. Sorry, guys. Like and subscribe. Hit us with the HBO special. Help a brother out. If you're watching, then it doesn't cost you anything to like, and it doesn't definitely cost you anything to subscribe. And if you hit your notifications, you will be updated with anytime we're going live, because everything on our network is live, predominantly all our live shows.
I will say though, hold it real quick. We do have a new feature. If you guys haven't noticed, the super chats are available. So obviously we try to go through the comments and interact with you guys, whether it's a super chat or not. But now that feature is available, if you do decide to donate a super chat, very much appreciated. That helps us definitely grow the clubhouse. And of course, those will be featured, and we'll get to those first and foremost. But like I said, even if you don't, no problem. Like I said, we will still try and go through the comments and interact with you guys as much as possible as well. So
definitely.
Going forward, though, we only have a few minutes left before we have to sign off for the pregame show, unfortunately. Let's try and get into this Detroit game. Let me know your thoughts on what the Bears will have to do to try to get out of Ford Field with the win, considering that the Lions are just as desperate as we are for a win and don't want to start 0-2 in the division. So
eliminate mistakes. We had 12 penalties in the last game. You got to score when the opportunities are there. You have to make the stops when they're there. I thought the defense was really good in the first half, regardless of the injuries. This is football, so you got to show up when the opportunity is there. The Bears had a lead that they let get away, and then they couldn't come back. Caleb got extremely inconsistent in the second half. The play calling. I even listened to a lot of Chicago sports radio here in Phoenix, with the ESPN app. Shout out to them. I don't feel I'm not predicting, but I don't feel optimistic that they can win today's game just because of the superior talent on Detroit. But anything is possible. Obviously, it's football, but they got to be more consistent. I think that I know the entire offseason, all I heard is people were so worried about Braxton Jones. Braxton Jones on the O-line wasn't the issue last week. It was the interior, actually. In fact, I saw a lot of players coming from the inside between I think Jackson, the right tackle, and the center, Dalton. They didn't look good in pass protection, and they definitely didn't. None of the low line looked good in the run game. And all people are going to do is they're going to blame Swift. Look, Swift is theoretically known for not having the best set of eyes or reading the block. But there were many times where there was nothing to read because people were in the backfield. So
and
we've got to be more consistent. We've got to get this O-line who people say, we got to get them time. Yes, we have to do all those things. I'm a very patient person. I understand the process of football. But I also believe that you've got to play better as well. So whatever it takes. I've been very vocal about the fact that I believe that we're not going to see the betterment of this team offensively until the second half of the season. I don't have
Okay.
stats. Unfortunately, I was hoping that I would start doing some TikTok shorts about it, but just haven't had the time to be organized with that. I don't want to put anything out on social media that's unorganized or is
Right.
not credible as far as the content wise. I want to make sure we're good on that aspect. So I was trying to figure out a way of doing it. But what I
So
will
real quick,
say,
let me just bring in Easy real quick since we're kind of running towards the end of the show. So, and then you can finish your thoughts real quick. So Easy, thanks for joining the show. But
Thanks
you're
for
gonna
having me, guys. Thank you
no
very much. Have a good
problem. Go ahead and finish what you were saying, Coach Chef, and then we'll get to Easy's
one.
thoughts.
What did you say? Sorry, I'm
I'm saying,
outside
I'll
right
say
now.
Coach Chef's going to finish his thoughts real quick, and then we'll kick it to you to get your thoughts after that.
All
So
right,
go ahead,
sounds
Coach.
good.
no, what I'm saying is they've got to play better. The offense, as far as on timing, has to be better, but the timing has nothing to do with penalties. We had 12 penalties for 127 yards. They didn't look good. I'm not going to blame the refs for those calls. You gotta play better than the refs make calls. Nothing was that egregious that it was um, like it wasn't some dreadful call that had to be reviewed. Ben Johnson made a bad decision by going to review a play, so you lose a timeout there. The two big penalties for holding on
I thought the
Darnell
Darnell
Wright.
Wright one. The Darnell Wright one was pretty egregious.
There was egregious, but if you go back and look, maybe the ref got the number wrong because maybe it was the right tackle who was doing the holding.
You mean the left
So
tackle? Okay, that makes sense.
the right
Still, though,
right guard. So
it's too bad that
that
has to be
happened.
on Darnell. But
Yeah, it is. So if Darnell Wright he gets penalized himself, but maybe the ref got the wrong. They do that. Actually, that happens probably once or twice a game where there's a penalty and they get the wrong number, and even the guys in the commentating booth are like, "Well, that guy. Well, maybe they mean the guy next to him or something of that effect." I'm not absolving them. They have to make the right call, but I'm not blaming that. They didn't play well in the second half on any aspect. If you take away the pick six, they played dreadful.
Yep.
I think as much credit as we give to Noshawn Wright, Noshawn Wright for the pick six, I think he cost us 6 points in the first half. Technically, he
Yep.
got the 6 points back in the second half, but in the first half, he had a pass interference that led to a field goal early, and then he had a breaking coverage where he got beat vertically at the end of the first half that led to another field goal. So you could say that's a push. I don't think
he
he played
played
that.
poorly. He played poorly.
He didn't play very well. So
Yes.
hopefully with guys being healthy, but regardless of health or anything, because we saw Detroit with essentially all DBs from off the street play. We've got to find the fixes sooner than later. Now, I don't have the score prediction right now, but I do have the Bears losing today. I do have the Bears dropping to 0-2 versus the Lions
Agreed.
away. But I saw some good things. I just saw some things I didn't like. Defensively, there were times where even the touchdown that Mason had. No. I'm sorry. It was Aaron Jones. I think the pass from Aaron Jones where they were man coverage and he beat Noah Sewell. Hey, that's football.
Yep.
Like I don't blame Noah Sewell for getting beat 30 yards downfield by a running back. That's not his bag right there. So
Yeah.
they gave
Exactly.
time and he hit the open guy. But you got to make defensively and offensively. They couldn't stop the run in the second half. I think the first half. I'm reviewing, but I'm saying things that lead into the next game. They stopped the run where the Vikings were averaging less than 4 yards to carry. I think 3.2 or something to that effect. Running the ball as a whole as a team, and then they were allowing almost 7 yards to carry in the second half. You got to play a full 60-minute game. That just boils down to execution and it's finishing the job. You have to leave no doubt that you're the better team. You can't be like, well, we were the better team for 45 minutes. Well, if you lost the game, then you need to be a better team for all 60 minutes. I mean, we'll say, sometimes the game comes down to the last 2 minutes or any of those things, but you've got to find a way to win.
I agree. Easy. Give us your thoughts on how do you think the game will go today, or just kind of what you want to say. We have about a few more minutes left before we have to wrap it up. I know you talked about it yesterday as well.
Look,
so.
Yesterday I basically went on my show and just cried for an hour. I think it's going to be brutal. I think it's going to be ugly. But look, I'm all decked out, head to toe. I'm at the bar, PT's ranch. I didn't know about it till yesterday. It's a bar in Henderson that apparently it's a Bears bar. It's going to be very full. I'm here early so I could sit down because, as we all know, there's nothing worse than standing up at a bar, especially when your team's getting their ass kicked.
Oh, I was
But
standing up
yeah,
at a
I'm
bar
here.
last
I'm
night.
excited.
No,
I'm hyped that I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're going to lose by 17 points. 34-17 is what I said. I think it's going to be fucking ugly. I think our quarterback just isn't ready yet. I think the offense is just going to suck. I think I think this team's absolutely in hell, and they have been in hell for a very very long time since I'd argue 2010. But that's my team, and I'm gonna go support them, and I'm hoping to prove me wrong today. Give me something to cheer about.
you know what, Easy? You never seem to
Oh,
amaze
nah,
me.
dog. Come on, man.
Easy never disappoints on his theatrics as a Bears fan. His
Well, look,
extreme highs and the extreme lows of his
you
insight.
could call it theatrics. I call it passion, man. Like it's not. This is not an act. This is who I like. This
No,
is
no, 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 no.
you know.
When I say it, I'm not saying it as though you are faking the funk. I'm saying that you are very high and low with your emotions. When
That
it's
is true.
good,
That is true.
I've been in the chat with you. I'd be like, bro, like it's not that serious. You are extremely high. So when things are good, they're the best team in the world. Just like
Oh yeah,
the people who every year the Bears are going to go 17-0. And I'm like, if you ever played
yeah.
football, there's no way in the hell they're going 17-0. Even the best teams will go 17-0. That's why it's only happened once. And
Oh
then when
yeah.
they're bad, oh, we're never going to win a game again. We got to get rid of the whole team. Let's cut everyone and fire
Just
everyone
to be
tomorrow.
clear, yeah. Just to be clear, if we win today, I'm going to be talking Super Bowl. Like I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, of
guys,
course.
I think this might be the best team in the league, and that's just the way it's gonna be, and that's the way I'm a fan. I feel it all, and
No, and that's fine.
the
You
best
you
way,
you
the
are
best
you
word for it
in
is
the
bipolar. Like I'm football bipolar, if that makes sense. I'm sorry if that's an offensive thing to say.
not here. I'm not offended. I've heard
Okay.
worse things.
That's all good. So Eminem here is saying the Bears win. Caleb has his best game. Chicago brings the F and W. I like that. I'm hoping that. And then also love Swift,
Hey,
but we need a
give
bigger
me some of what
backup
Eminem
behind
is
him. I
having.
totally agree with that
Eminem is speaking
one.
facts.
Yeah. So guys, we got about 5 minutes left. Yeah. No, he is. He is. But guys, we have a few minutes left. Let's in the chat drop your score predictions, and then let's go around here and get some score predictions before we sign out of here. I am going to the Arizona Cardinals Carolina Panthers game. My son's
Fun.
high school band will be playing there, so that's why we're gonna have to go there and check them out and whatnot. So,
That's so
but
that's so
let's go
freaking
ahead and
cool,
get
man.
to it, Coach Chef. What do
Um,
you think the Bears will do, or do you want Easy to go first on score prediction?
well, since easy, go ahead.
Well, I got 34-17. I think Caleb gets some garbage time yards, but in general looks ineffective and can't move the ball. I think the Lions have their breakout game. You know, they're at home. Crowd's going to be roaring. I
Get
think
right
one
game.
loss to the Packers, who happen to be the best team in the NFC right now, doesn't indicate what the Lions actually are. And I think it's just going to be a really sad Sunday for all of us. And I'm going to get really drunk.
All right.
Okay.
Well, you've definitely
My
fit your
my,
name,
pred- my
Easy the
prediction
Grump. You know what I
My
mean?
prediction, yeah, my prediction is 3 or 4 beers for me,
3 or 4. Oh, that's it.
and several shots,
I'll
several
take the
shots.
Oh,
over.
okay. Okay.
I'll take
I
the
just
over.
simply get picked over on the beers. Um,
Right.
right now in my mind and my heart, I do have the Bears losing today. I would say if I went with a prediction, it'd be like 28-20. I think we're going to see
Hmm.
the continued inconsistency. We're going to see some very good plays from Caleb. He's definitely got to get to the adage of making the easy things look as they are easy. Now we all call things easy, no pun intended.
Easy.
But he does it exactly. Um, we all have. He makes the amazing throws look easy. He makes sometimes the easy throws look hard. He missed a lot of, not a lot. He missed several easy passes, and we say easy as though we can make them. But easy in the sense of that a typical NFL quarterback, a backup, if you may, should make them. But I have them losing because I just don't think they're ready for this stage of knowing that they should win difficult games. They didn't win a game that they were predicted to win, and they didn't look in the second half. So can we put a full game together? Can we find consistency offensively and defensively? I'm having a hard time finding anything online right now because I don't have the point spread, which is I'm usually more ready for. I just think right now the talent still leads with the Lions overall. They are missing their center, and they looked really bad versus the Packers. And this is the thing I'm going to stand on. I told people after the trade, the Packers, this whole narrative that Jordan Love, like, I don't believe in him. It doesn't matter what you do as a Bears fan. The fact of the matter is he's had a 30-touchdown season. 30-touchdown seasons just don't leave a person with that type of talent. The kid can still play. He hasn't played lights out, but he's been consistent.
No, he's really good. He's really good.
And he's been really good. The play caller, their head coach, is really good. And that defense, who was top 10 last year, got better. And people say, oh, well, they got rid of their tackles, so now they're worse. That's not going to drop a team that was top 10 in the league to 25th. It's not going to happen. Now they have the best top 3, just say 3 to 5 bookends in the NFL on the defensive line. The Packers, I'm going to say it, and I'm not being hyperbolic or extreme. They are the best team in the NFC North. Until
they're the best team in the NFC.
Not there yet. I might give it enough. Maybe. But they made Jalen Daniels look like the rookie that we were hoping that teams last year were trying to make him look like. They made him look like a rookie.
Yeah.
They shut down all the big-time receivers yesterday on Thursday night. When I turned the game on at work, I caught the last bit of it since the game comes on. I'm sorry. I know I've been here for over a year, but just any East Coast, Midwest games that come on in Mountain Time, they come on at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Man, it still is like, oh, damn, the game is on really fucking early. Excuse me. Really freaking early. But I do have the Bears losing today, 28-20. I hope they shock me. I hope I see more consistency. I'm here for the long run with Ben Johnson, Caleb. I don't want to hear any of this talk about Tyson Bagent. I don't want to hear any of this talk about benching guys. I don't want to hear any talk about Swift can't run the ball. The problem is the most inconsistent thing that was consistent on Monday Night Football was the fact that the O-line for the Bears did not look as a whole. Not blaming the left tackle. I'm blaming the entire line. Not Darnell. Jackson, I think, per PFF, was rated the worst offensive lineman of the league in week 1. He rated at like a 30-something%.
Way to go, Ryan Poles.
He looked bad. Now, we could blame Brian Poles, but it was a guy who had not a legacy, but he had a past before his injuries in LA of playing good. He didn't play good. I think we have the backup. So I think that if things like this persist going into week 4, 5, or 6, where we want to see a change, I think, but we've got to look more consistent. I think Caleb ran the ball very well. I think he can escape. I think that he's being quicker with his decisions, although he's still a tad late. I know people. I think another stat: Caleb took the longest time to throw the ball. That stat is always going to look weird when you can run. If you're not an athletic quarterback, if you're Jared Goff, you're not going to take 3-4 seconds to throw the ball because you're not athletic enough to evade the rush. They don't count that in that stat. They don't say he took forever to throw the ball, but also he was in the backfield running around for 7 seconds. So I think that is helpful and skewed a bit. But yeah, I have them losing today, 28-20. I just think that
guys, I gotta go. I gotta reserve my spot, but it's been a pleasure shooting the shit with you guys, and let's get this dub today, boys. Peace.
Yes. I'm sorry, Easy, before you guys.
We're ending the show anyway.
I wanted to tell Easy that the bib of his hat looked like the largest cap I've ever seen. There's the angle of the light. It looked like he had like one of those novelty hats. Where the bib was extra, like you have it on too. Like for some reason, maybe it was the camera angle, And I'm like, holy shit, does he have a novelty hat on? But hey,
It
people
looked
can
like
fan
the
the way
hat
they.
from Sandlot with the big.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
People
Go
can
ahead.
fan the
So
way
we
they
can.
fan. I'm sorry. I'm more of a even keels fan. I do express myself extremely when things are really bad. But I don't think I don't think the Bears look as bad as people think that they finished looking quote unquote typical Bear. But I don't think as a team they're as bad as people are saying they are after week 1.
Okay.
I watched the Patriots
All right.
almost 8 years ago get their asses whooped by KC and then they won the Super Bowl. So.
All right. Fair enough. Well, guys, we'll have to wrap up the show. Like I said, we're pretty much at the end of the mark there. As far as for me, unfortunately, I don't think the Bears will be able to pull this one off. I see a 27-17 type of loss coming our way, unfortunately. But like Easy said, please, for God's sakes, prove me wrong, Chicago. I hope I am wrong and whatnot. So, but guys, thank you for joining the show. Thank you, Coach Chef, for hopping on with me and chopping it up. Everyone in the comments, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to us. We're trying to get to 1,400 subscribers by the end of the year. But we can't do that without your guys' help and whatnot. So,
hey, can we get to 1,400 subscribers before the end of the month? Come on, people out there. You're on YouTube for a lot of other things. It doesn't cost anything to like and subscribe. Hit the like if you're there. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Hey, I know a great network of podcasts that come on. They have good content. If you don't think we have good content, well, send us some hate text. Tell us what you think we should be doing better, because we want to get better. And even if we don't like it, you might have a gem of inspiration that might help us. Hey, you guys need to do this, and we might be saying, hey, that guy's a dick, but hey, you know what? He's kind of right. So it doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost you anything. We're not I'm not gonna say that word.
Okay.
Hey, it doesn't cost anything to like. Help us out.
Absolutely.
I'm not asking. I'm asking.
Thank you guys again for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Bear down. Be safe out there. Be good. But if you can't be
Bear
good,
down.
at least be good at it.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
We're bears over here. Bear down, guys. Be safe.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.